mean, I heat it, I licked it, I sticked it, I whacked it. Okay, so welcome back to the Bentley suspension overhaul. If you missed the previous video, I'll link it here. Thank you for watching. Let's get to it.
Yo, this is about to really hurt some people's feelings, so if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint.
Everyone knows that when a girl puts her hair up like this, good things are going to happen. My car knows what's coming, and it's excited. That is, of course, unless the girl's about to get into a brawl outside of a club or something terrible like that. The sway bar end link has seen better days, for sure. It's like, it's all boogered up. So what you can't really see on the camera is, you know, because my entire body is covering the work area for so much of the job. Before I disassembled the upper control arms, I removed the nut. I didn't remove the nut, but I loosened the nut on the lower control arms, and I, you know, tried to give them the old heave-ho, just to kind of loosen it out while everything was still attached to the car, and I like held it into place. I gave it some wax, you know, that didn't work out. I thought, no big deal, you know, once I have more access, it'll come right out. So the control arm, the lower control arm that I'm trying to get out is like this, right? And the strut mounts to this. So I have to take the upper strut out in order to lift the control arm out. If I don't, it's gonna be like this, right? So you got the strut mount and the control arm. They're together like this. You can scooch the control arm out of the way, but there's like this compressor thing on it, so it still kind of just gets in the way and it's very clunky. And at that point, if you're gonna remove it, just get the whole thing out of the way because it's not holding up anything. Now the strut mount has the upper control arms attached to it, so therefore you remove the strut, the control arms are coming with. So now you've got the lower control arms attached to the knuckle, and then the knuckle's still attached to the track rod end up top, so it's not completely freely swinging in yet. And since I was already going to remove the CV axle, I removed the CV axle before I even tried to really go ham on the lower control arm. So a lot of logic went into how I was going to remove the lower control arm, that now you see this point, which I've got pretty much everything like disassembled, and I'm whacking it with a hammer. Just keep that in mind if you're gonna say, you should have done that, or you should have done this, or you should have done that, because I did that. I really did. I tried everything and all my tools, and I know when to call it quits, so I drove my butt down to O'Reilly as fast as I could to rent some tools. O'Reilly is literally right down the street from my house. It's the end of the day. I can get there and get back within like 7 minutes if I hit all greens. And I went to rent like a good pickle fork, some bushing pusher outer things, anything that they had that might do the trick. I would have rented like one of the men if they would let me, like a strong man to just take it out, but they don't do that there. Okay, so we're back, and I spent the better part of yesterday, the couple hours that I had to work on the car, I spent it trying to remove that ball joint from the spindle. You know, as you can imagine, I didn't get it very far with it. So I came to my senses towards the end of the day and I was like, my methods aren't working. My wrist actually hurt from beating it with the sledgehammer. And I really do think that it comes down to like me not being strong enough. All the other spindle joint blah 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 removed perfectly, and just this lower control arm isn't doing it. So I packed up yesterday and I decided to go and rent some decent tools. I have a pickle fork from Harbor Freight. It bent, it broke, so it wasn't worth using. I also have a few other tools that failed me yesterday. So I rented this yesterday from O'Reilly, and as the guy like handed it to me, he's like, "This is the magic one, if you say so." It costs like $270 to rent a bunch of tools from O'Reilly, but when you give them back, they give you all your money back, so there's not even a rental fee. You just obviously have to make sure to return them. Also, keep in mind, like, I literally spent probably an hour and a half banging it away. I also sprayed tons of this stuff that smells so good, by the way. This stuff, oh my god, it smells amazing. The only thing is it's pink, so like the overspray will get on places, and for a split second I keep thinking that I'm seeing transmission oil dripping from a mysterious part under my motor. And at first I had a heart attack. I'm like, oh my god, there's transmission fluid dripping from my radiator. And I stuck my finger, I grabbed some and smelled it. It was not transmission fluid, it was this, so that's good. But this smells like heaven. Another big issue that I had with, you know, the old traditional whack-a-mole method is the clearance. I just replaced the bumper and there's just not a lot of room to batter up. I always crack up because in the video it looks like I'm like barely touching it. It's like tang, tang, tang. And I'm hitting in person. It's like wham, wham. Like I had to wear earplugs because it was so loud. So I did give it my all, but there is like all this stuff around me to kind of like hinder how much room I have to whack it with. I am desperate and I've tried everything. I have literally tried everything. So I'm going to do the torch. I'm gonna go buy a torch. The yellow can. That's what I've been told will work. Here we go. And you know what else I got? Walmart is interesting at this time. I felt like a criminal. I think half those people in there were doing some kind of crime. But I got what I needed. I'm gonna go light it up. This is a clear indication that my mother was driving my car last. So with the torch that I have, the new air hammer, and all the pickle fork attachments, that shit doesn't stand a chance against me. It's been like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. I started this project on a Wednesday. Everything was going really smooth. Thursday came time to detach the ball joint from the spindle, and that's when all hell broke loose. Friday came along and I gave it my all, and then I realized, you know what, I'm done messing around with this pickle fork and these things that are not working. I'm gonna bring out the torch. I have a torch. I don't know where it is. It's probably in a safe place, as I like to put things in safe places, never to be found again. So I went to Walmart and I got some goodies, and then on Saturday I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get an air hammer too, because I've seen some of you remove stuck ball joints with an air hammer. So let's look at the goodies that I got. Okay, so I got a torch. Came with some gas, but not the gas that I wanted. I got the yellow can, and the one that I had before, one of these, it didn't go in far enough, and when I was hammering it away, it chipped, so it just kind of rendered it useless, so I got a new one. I got a couple of attachments. I was feeling really good about this. I mean, I heat it, I licked it, I sticked it, I whacked it, and it's hard to tell in these videos, but I heated it up. It was like glowing red. Okay, I lit it on fire at one point. It did nothing, and I heated up both. I heated up like the area around it, so it would hopefully expand. I heated up the bolt itself. Maybe it would expand and kind of like jostle itself out. I heated up the knuckle. I heated up everything. And I whacked it. I heated up and I air hammered it. I heated up and I whacked it. I whacked it in everywhere that you could whack it. I whacked it with 3 different sledgehammers. I whacked it with a giant Thor sledgehammer, with an old wooden sledgehammer, with my neighbor's compact, really great sledgehammer. I tried everything, is what I'm saying. I tried it all. I even rubbed it, like, come on, please come out. Nope. So eventually, I called my brother-in-law. He is my last resort. My brother-in-law is like 6'3", big Italian man. He's huge. He's got huge muscles, like, and he's a brave man. I call him over. He lives right down the street. Comes over, sticks his whole head in there, not afraid of nothing. Heats it up. I bring him the sledgehammer. He's whacking it. Unfortunately, I'm not mad at it, but he did whack my rotor and dent it. I'm not mad because it's my fault. Why did I leave the rotor on? What, I was trying to save myself some time by leaving the rotor on? So that was dumb. So I did take the rotor off. Anyways, my brother-in-law, he couldn't do it. My neighbor walks by, he sees what we're doing, and he's like, step aside. I got this. Great. Neighbor comes over. He's a big strong man too. More the merrier. He comes over, and he's got like a strategic way to whack it. Like my brother-in-law, he's like whack, whack, whack. My neighbor, he's like boom, boom, boom. I don't know. It's like the way he does it seems to be magic. It didn't work. So my neighbor's like, well, you know what? Take the tie rod off. Let's just pull the whole knuckle out, and I'll be able to whack it better. So in the process of that, he got a boo-boo. And guess what? He still couldn't get it off. Well, it's still not off, but my brother-in-law, he came to help, and he's like huge guy, really big strong man. He couldn't do it. He heated it up. He tried every single thing that I tried, but with the strength of a man. Then my neighbor came over, and together they combined manly forces and tried everything that I tried, but with the strength of 2 men. It won't come off. So I removed the rotor, I removed the caliper, I removed everything. I removed the other control arm, which all the control arms have come off easy except for that one. So I'm going to remove the entire assembly, see if I can get it off. I'm probably most likely at my last resort, which is buy a whole new knuckle. So.
Jack keeps the faith, we
got everything cleaned up, and I'm not going to try to remove the other control arm from the body yet because I'm feeling a little bit tired and I think that I'll hurt myself. So I'm just going to go eat and go to bed. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to eat. I'm going to shower. This is not how I present myself. So while I wait for the new knuckle, by the way, when I was shopping for the knuckle, I made sure that it had the spacer in where my control arm was going to come out. I ordered it, it was going to take like 2 to 3 days, so I wanted to just get everything ready. So like the new control arm's ready, everything out, and so it's just like an empty cavity for when the knuckle comes in. After I get the knuckle out, I took it out back and I told it a thing or two. I was able to get all the angles that I needed to whack that control arm out, and lo and behold, the control arm came out with that bushing sleeve, or spacer as some people call it. Basically, the control arm sits in a sleeve, and then that entire sleeve sits into the knuckle. I've read that that sleeve is pressed in to the knuckle and should not be removed. So that is a true testament to how stuck that control arm was. So then I'm thinking, well, I wonder if my new knuckle's gonna have that, and it did. Thankfully, it did have that when it came. It did. I know I've got safety goggles on, but I decided to wrap a towel around my head too, just in case, especially my teeth. I can't afford teeth. I need my teeth. Teeth are way expensive, so the towel is gonna save me, logically. I should have just put my motorcycle helmet on. Well, you saw. It was a violent act of violence. It was great acts of violence. This new lower control arm ready to go. I got the right side lower control arm ready to go. A new CV axle ready to go. Clean empty space ready to go. Calipers hanging up top. All new bolts for everything as per the manufacturer's recommendation. These new upper control arms. The other ones were just dangling. And then the last thing that I'm going to order is a new tie rod, because this one seems a little too wiggle jiggle. And then I even have new sway bar end link to go here. Woohoo! Look, that's a jack stand. That's a wrap for this week. The journey continues. I still have all the new things to put in. It's a fun job. It's going to be great when it's done. Thank you so much for watching too. Please like and subscribe. It means the world to me. I want to completely paint my entire garage and patch up all the, bad holes and stuff, and I haven't yet, but we're gonna make a little bit of progress. I started one wall so far, and I also got a new shelf, so things are gonna be very organized. My goal is to have it all painted and then do a floor. I'm gonna do just like the click-clock tile floor because I don't want to mess with that resin stuff, and it's a lot of work. I don't want it. replaced it.
Oh.
I can't bear to throw it away. I might meet someone who, not like that, but I might like, what if I'm talking to somebody at like
Say,
a local car place and I, you know.
22 years, someone might be like,
exactly!
I need this.
And I'll be like, oh my god, I have a brand new one. You know, I could be on the side of the road, somebody's car could be overheating and their reservoir could be cracked.